Hello dorks everywhere and welcome to a new type of video for the United King Dorks channel, and that is going to be a trailer breakdown for No Man's Sky. Now this is the first time that I've personally made one of these videos also, so if there's any small issues please do forgive them, and also feel free to let us know in the comments if there is any issues that you spot, and we can definitely get them sorted for any future trailer breakdowns that we make. Now with that being said, let's get on to the trailer itself. So as we can see on this first screen, there is 4 trailers total. That is Explore, Fight, Trade and Survive. So we've already had Explore and Fight, and this is the third of the 4 trailers, which is Trade. So in these first couple of shots, we don't get any trade information, but what we do get is a look at some of the beautiful scenery in this game. This is obviously a really good looking game, and that's something that the developers want to show off at every opportunity, and why wouldn't they? So when the explorer lands on the planet, we can see that he scans the environment. Now when this scan completes, it brings up 2 markers that you can see now, and what they are is resource markers, so showing what resources are available. It doesn't tell you what the actual resource is, but it does tell you the type of resource. So the next scene that we see has the title Gather Natural Resources. We can see that the first natural resource that we can gather is silicate, and silicate has a subheading of flora, so that's going to be something that grows naturally in the environment, and once this is harvested it provides silicon. So silicon is an element that you've probably heard of, although you may not know exactly what it's for. While silicon is used on a massive scale on Earth, it's used in the production of processors, so many electrical devices use silicon. In fact, the device that you're watching this video on will have silicon in it. However, it's not something that grows naturally on Earth. It's a chemical compound that is in the Earth's mantle, so the Earth's crust layer, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's where it comes from. So it does look like in the actual game they take a slightly different view on that, and that could be quite interesting to see what they do with that. I imagine it'll be used for repairing electronic circuits and things like that, the same as it is on Earth, but I'm not sure of that. So the next resource that we see is iron, and that's got a type of oxide, and it also has a subheading which says to destroy, and that's currently being done using a mining beam. So oxidation of metals is something that occurs in oxygen rich environments, for those that do not know, and this could potentially mean that there are other forms of iron available on different planets with different atmosphere and atmospheric compositions. We know that the game's procedurally generated, and it does look like different planets are going to have different atmosphere types, so that's definitely something that could happen. Now in the top right hand corner of the screen we can see a percentage indicator, which is presumably ammo for the mining laser as that's going down, and there is also a bar that appears to be filling up, which I would guess is for overheating. So on the next screen there is more destroying of an element. It doesn't tell us what this is this time, which is unfortunate, but we can only guess that that is another resource that's being gathered by the explorer. We then come to the next screen where the pilot is destroying an asteroid. Now this could be purely for convenience, to get it out of the way and demonstrate that the asteroids are destructible while you're in your ship. However, it does appear to split into some smaller pieces which look like they are collectible. And this would certainly fit in with the title of the video, which is Trade. So I would guess that they are collectible pieces and you can actually gather resources when you're in your ship. You don't have to land to do that. So the trailer then goes on to display buy and sell exotic items around the galaxy. Now I do believe that the game is going to be primarily single player. It will technically be multiplayer, but I believe personally it's going to be a very solo experience. Now one of the reasons for this is there was an interview done by Game Informer with Sean Murray, and he was asked, will friends show up on the map? So Sean replied, Yes, but they will be a long way away. People keep asking us about the multiplayer, and I think when people see this, they are going to fully realise what it means that they are that far away from somebody else who's playing. So although there will be other people in the world that you're playing in, because it's such a large game, I believe they say there's over 100 trillion planets in it, or some absurd number like that, it's very unlikely that you'll actually run into somebody and trade with them directly. Now, it could be possible that the trade is still achievable through an auction house format or some kind of environment like that. And actually, if we watch the video further, for a brief moment we do get a pop-up which says Galactic Market Terminal, but this again could just be an NPC based system allowing you to trade between different stops, but it could totally be a multiplayer focused auction house or market for trading. So the next screen that we see is a damaged machinery screen, and that has the option to get a blueprint. Now when we collect this blueprint, it gives us the wide beam adapter V1, and we can see some of the elements that requires. It requires iron, iridium and plutonium, and it says that, you know, once you've got them items and the blueprint, you can build that item then and upgrade your ship with it. And it also shows that we get a +1 diamond upgrade. I'm not sure what that diamond refers to. I believe it will be a skill or some form of ability that your ship has or something like that. So at the very start of the next scene, we can see that the pilot has just collected some iron. This definitely reaffirms what I was saying earlier in terms of the fact that I believe you'll be able to collect resources when you're inside your ship, as it looks like he's destroying asteroids and collecting the pieces from it. You don't actually see him destroy the asteroid and then collect pieces, but it'd be very unlikely that he'd collect the pieces and get in his ship and take off in time for it to still say iron at the top of the screen. So on the next screen we can see the pilot shooting an even larger asteroid, which is also destructible. We can see that there's bits being chunked out of it, and we can also clearly see a bar labelled heat, which seems to confirm that earlier suspicion that the game does have an overheat system for the guns. It does seem to be going up extremely slowly, however, if at all. Now this could be due to possible upgrades, as the one earlier in the video went up much quicker. However, this could be a bug, because as we go on to the next scene, we can also see the photo cannon again, and that heat meter is half filled, exactly the same as it was on the previous screen, and the pilot doesn't appear to be shooting, he's just travelling at that time. So maybe that's a bug, or maybe that's intended and it's because the ship's been upgraded, it holds onto his heat or something like that. But that does seem a little bit strange with how quickly it was going up and down earlier in the video. So we then see the mining beam being used on what appears to be the ground or some kind of gem within the ground. And if we freeze the video, we can see very briefly for a couple of frames, we do actually get the element type, which is emerald, and it has a subheading of destroy again, which is why the mining laser is being used. This time it does have a type of neutral rather than oxide, so again that plays into that theory that maybe there's different types of each element, or maybe just different elements in general are different types. So on the following screen we again see that iron oxide's being collected. However, this time there is an alert to say that Sentinel drones have been alerted. In the same interview that I was talking about earlier with Sean, he referred to the fact that Sentinel drones are autonomous drones that are used to protect the planets and wildlife. So if you're on a planet and you're over farming that planet, you're taking too much of the natural resources and you're harming the planet, it looks like these are autonomous drones that will come out and basically either kill you, arrest you, we don't know. But that's something that you'll have to contend with, and you'll have to balance sort of taking resources but also allowing these planets to survive and indeed thrive. So again we get another view of some elements being destroyed with no labels. Same as earlier in the video, it's unfortunate that we don't find out what they are. They definitely look different to the iron oxide, but that's something that we'll have to discover when the game comes out. So we then see a ship with a lot of modification options, and we have the option to compare it with our own or to decline it outright without even comparing it. I can't see an accept option on there, so maybe you have to compare it first and then see if you can accept it. But it's a bit of a strange situation. It's possible that it's maybe a quest reward, but due to the nature of the trailer and it being a trade trailer, I would imagine this is more than likely a trade request or some kind of purchase option allowing you to buy new parts for your ship, or maybe even entirely a new ship. But that's only speculation. So the next screen shows our ship inventory and the crafting options that we get within it. So you can see that when the iron's selected, if I freeze it there, the user is presented with several options that can be built from it. However, only one is lit up currently. I would imagine this is because he doesn't have the resources available for the other items. Maybe he's discovered blueprints for them, but he just doesn't have the resources to actually build them. But at the moment, it's only giving him the option to build one thing. But it looks like the way the crafting is going to work will be fairly simple. You'll collect blueprints and then go into your inventory, and as long as you've got the resources, you can build it directly from there. There are also two more inventory items on the top row that we can see have exclamation marks. This could mean that they're newly collected items, or it could mean that there are items that need attention, so maybe it's run out of a certain resource and it needs topping up. Or maybe it's damaged, maybe he's been in a firefight and there's damage to his ship that needs repairing. We don't know what their exclamation marks mean. He doesn't hover over them, unfortunately, so we can only speculate on that. So the next screen that we get to is a very similar screen. However, this is the exosuit maintenance options. And certain parts or certain items on this screen, should I say, appear to have a usage bar at the bottom of them, which are sort of half filled. This could either be damage, or it could be, in the case of the protection mesh which is hovering over, the fact that the item actually needs charging up with certain elements. So on the protection mesh, it says that the equipment can be charged through oxide materials. So that's not just iron oxide, I would imagine. That can be any sort of oxide material that can charge that suit up. We also get a glance at the tooltip for some of the other elements. And on these tooltips, it basically states their usage, where they can potentially be found, what types of planets they can be found on, as well as their rarity. So we then get another new technology, which is a beam cooling upgrade. This again confirms that weapons will have an overheat function, as on the tooltip it does talk about keeping weapons cooler for longer. And then finally we get another look at the NPC Trader, and in the bottom right hand corner we get a note that says there's a new product recipe available. And it looks like this is due to the completion of a quest above that point. So it looks like once you complete quests, you can actually gain blueprints and recipes through that. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like down below just to let us know that you want to see more of this content in future. Also check out the couple of videos that are on the screen at the moment, and feel free to subscribe to make sure you get that future content from us.